What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Shorts back again with another Rush Rundown. This time, we're going to be going over Goblin Slayer in the English competitive metagame. This is going to be a quick and concise overview of Goblin Slayer's strengths and weaknesses and notable cards that you need to know about in order to play into it. While these aren't meant to be all-inclusive, I have a bunch of information crammed in here, so feel free to pause if it's gone a little too fast. Let's jump right in. Goblin Slayer plays a very mid-rangey strategy revolving around its high value and versatile cards in order to approach pretty much any board state and come out ahead. Besides having powerful attackers and non-interactive combos, they have powerful event cards that help them control the game early and even in the later stages of the game to deny you from killing them. One of the best things about Goblin Slayer is really not needing reverses for their combos outside of the mono yellow build. But all other builds of Goblin Slayer are going to be running the Goblin Slayer level 1 combo that is an on-attack plus. Probably the most notable card you need to watch out for in Goblin Slayer, as it is probably the only one that you can really effectively set up to deal with, is going to be Predetermined Outcome Goblin Slayer. This card is a 3000 power level 1 chaser, meaning it can move to whatever slot has a character opposing it during your combat step. It also has the ability that your character cannot side attack it, meaning you either have to crash your weaker level 0 character into this, or just don't attack. You can expect most Goblin Slayer decks to be running 4 copies of this, as it is the center point of their level 0 game, and one of the most dangerous things you need to watch out for, especially if you're running a lot of runners in your deck. Next card to talk about is the level 1 combo I mentioned earlier, Precise Battle Tactics Goblin Slayer. He sits at 6000 power on the field, and with the gate climax in the climax area on attack, this Goblin Slayer allows your opponent to grab a torch event from either their deck or waiting room. Most of the time, they're going to be running the Counter Torch, which is very similar to the Scanner event in Gun Gale. It allows the Goblin Slayer player to look at the top 4 cards of their deck and add a character among them to their hand. And they can do this during combat because it is a backup. So if your opponent's deck state is not in a very good spot after their level 1 combo, try to go for direct attacks and side attacks first so they cannot use this event to mill through the rest of their clean deck. Most of the time, Goblin Slayer is going to be running a 3-1 split with these torches. The second torch you see there is also grabbable off of Goblin Slayer's effect and allows your opponent to move one of your characters to an open slot on your stage. This allows them to always have a reverse target or to pull up your back row and get a free kill. Looking at some Priestess cards now, we have the level 3 early play Priestess combo. This is a very powerful and consistent soul wall effect. It has the added benefit of not targeting cards on your field, meaning even if you have hexproof, like AOT with the arm and assist, your field will still receive negative soul as it does not target. It is also possible for Goblin Slayer to loop this climax combo turn after turn because it is off of a pants climax, and the Priestess draw 2 ditches 1 on play, helping them draw into the climax if they don't already have it. The early play condition for this combo is the level 0 Goblin Slayer you see off to the side there. Generally, Goblin Slayer decks will not have room to run this card unless they're running the Priestess combo, but it is a very solid card still, with a useful alarm effect to help make sure that their combo goes off without a hitch. Next, we're going to be talking about some Cowgirls and Witches. These are the cornerstone of the Standby Goblin Slayer deck. The Standby Goblin Slayer deck will still be running the level 1 Goblin Slayer combo with the torches I mentioned before. They will be running a Standby Climax instead of the Priestess finisher. The Cowgirl Brainstormer that the deck will be running combos with the Standby Climax, allowing them to stand the character that they just standbyed onto the field. And the level 3 Witch you see here is an extremely powerful back row assist. Goblin Slayer will try to standby out. It gives 2000 power to every character in front of it and allows your opponent to damage scry every time they don't cancel damage. That is not an effect that is given to the lanes in front of it. That is just a universal effect. So if your opponent is able to get this card out at early level 2, it might become very difficult for you to stick damage to them for the rest of the game, especially if they have multiples of these, in which case the effect stacks. At level 3, Goblin Slayer also has some very powerful event cards you need to watch out for. The one you see here is the Resurrection event, which allows the Goblin Slayer player to discard a Sword Maiden and Priestess card, deal 5 cards from their clock. Your opponent is running this card in their deck, and you don't quite get there with your finisher. They're going to obliterate your chance to 2-turn them by completely healing themselves and sending this card to memory to boot. There is also a 3/3 Gate Scroll event, which allows Goblin Slayer to bounce one of your characters back to your hand during the combat step, although they need a full field to play Gate Scroll event, so you can deny it. Also pictured below are cards that will allow you to have easier access to your event cards. The level 0 back row Priestess here, and there's a level 0 Witch back row as well that works the same way for the Gate Scroll. Allows you to sacrifice the card from your field and grab the event, and the 3/2 early play Goblin Slayer allows Goblin Slayer to discard and search for any event card. So they will have pretty consistent access to this card if they are running it. Last important card to mention here is the primary quote-unquote finisher of the set. There's 3/2 Goblin Slayer from the trial deck. Goblin Slayer builds are going to be relying on their level 2 game primarily to beat you, using either the Witch to cancel Scry damage or the Priestess combo to prevent you from dealing damage. But at level 3, they have this Climaxless finisher that is on reverse, pay 3, burn 2. And also has the ability that you cannot use backups during that combat. You can use counter events, however, so if you do have something like an opposition by the shield or other event card that can deny your opponent's combat step, keep in mind that you can still use those. Looking at potential counters that could be running, you see there the 3/3 Gate Scroll event that I mentioned before, the Torch event that goes with the level 1 combo, a generic 2k backup, and a generic anti-change counter. And for bombing and clearing options, they have one for each of their colors. None of them are really that relevant. Pretty basic. Common builds of Goblin Slayer you might see. Most likely you're going to see one of the 2 builds pictured below, using the level 1 Gate combo at level 1 with the torches into either the Priestess top end or just standbying out big fat threats that are going to make your life very difficult. Another build you might see is the mono yellow deck for Goblin Slayer, which is 8 shots. It's a very powerful budget build. Definitely keep an eye out for that one at larger tournaments, as newer players might be playing the 8-shot Goblin Slayer deck. Wrapping it all up, Goblin Slayer does have a Riki. It is a 0/0 Sword Maiden, but it only searches for Goblin Slayers. It does have some anti-change and bombing and clearing options as well, but they're pretty vanilla. Definitely the meta build you need to watch out for is going to be the Goblin Slayer builds with the Torch combo into either one of the 2 finishers, Pants or Standby. It's difficult to say which one of these is the most popular, but it's pretty much a coin toss which one you'll run into. The best cards in the set are definitely going to be the level 1 Goblin Slayer combo and the torches that go with it, allowing Goblin Slayer to have a plussing level 1 combo that does not require a reverse and tanks up to 9k on the defense. So it also helps them deny your reverses and mill through the rest of their first deck with the torch if they need to. Goblin Slayer is extremely strong at having a non-interactive and annoying early game to deal with strong deck manipulation tools and the level 0 Chaser, hopefully not allowing you to gain any traction at level 0 and allowing Goblin Slayer to extend their level 0 game as long as they need to set up their level 1 combo. Both the Priestess and Standby builds will both have their big turns at level 2, which leads to one of the main weaknesses of Goblin Slayer, which is the ability to close games, as they do not run a true finisher. However, do keep in mind that the trial deck Goblin Slayer does burn for 2 on reverse and does not require a combo. And the set also does have a Musashi, so they do have some generic ways to push you for game. And expect to see this deck a lot once tournaments resume, as the set is very affordable, the show is very popular, and the deck is very strong. And that's all I got to say about Goblin Slayer. If you liked the video, drop us a like and leave a comment. Maybe let us know some of your tips for this matchup. We'll be releasing more Rush Rundowns every Wednesday and our usual deck techs every other Friday, along with these links we drop down at the end of all of our videos. We'll also link some sample deck lists, Goblin Slayer below, if you'd like to see some more in-depth examples of what you might run into at a shop challenge or regional event. And with that, we're done. Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz signing off, and we'll see you all in the next one.